Have you ever had one of those moments, or maybe even one of those months, where it feels like the universe has its sights set squarely on you? When every time you think you've caught your breath, another wave comes crashing down, pulling you under again. It's that feeling of being utterly overwhelmed, where your own body starts to betray you under the immense weight of it all. If you know that feeling, then you know exactly where 90 Day Fiance star Julia Trepina has been living lately. Behind the drama, the confessionals, and the edited-for-television moments, the stars of our favorite reality shows are living real, complicated, and often painful lives. We've seen cast members bravely battle cancer, navigate frightening heart conditions, and open up about their silent struggles with mental health. These are not plot points, they are the unscripted, unfiltered realities that remind us these are human beings, first, and television personalities, second. And right now, Julia is in the thick of her own real-life crisis, a crucible of stress so intense it recently landed her in the hospital. For Julia, the dam of her resilience didn't just crack, it shattered. It started with a violation that so many of us fear, a car break-in. But for Julia, this wasn't just a random act of theft. It was a terrifying echo of a past trauma, a painful déjà vu that ripped open old wounds. A few years ago, she experienced a similar incident, losing precious documents and money, leaving her feeling vulnerable and shaken. To have it happen again wasn't just bad luck, it was like reliving a nightmare. The immediate stress was so severe, so all-consuming, that her body physically gave out. She found herself in a hospital, undergoing tests, trying to make sense of the signals her body was sending. While she's been guarded about the specifics, she's hinted at potential neurological issues and has been candid about her feelings of depression. It's a chilling reminder that emotional pain isn't just in our heads, it manifests in our bodies. Stress becomes a physical ailment, anxiety a tangible sickness. And for Julia, this event was the tipping point of a grief she was already drowning in. Just weeks before, in May 2025, she suffered a loss so profound it's hard to put into words. Her beloved dog, Simba, her constant companion and furry confidant, died from a sudden stroke. To anyone who has ever loved an animal, you know this pain. Simba wasn't just a pet. He was, in Julia's own words, her son. He was her family, a source of unwavering, unconditional love in a life that has often been anything but stable. Losing him left a gaping hole in her heart, and she was still navigating the raw, early stages of that grief when her sense of security was stolen all over again. Compounding this personal anguish was the visible strain in her marriage to Brandon. Fans who tuned into the 90 Day, The Last Resort Season 2 all felt a collective wince. At a time when Julia was clearly fragile, Brandon chose to bring up a cheating incident from over 5 years ago, suggesting he was still grappling with it. It felt like picking at a scar, a public display that showed the cracks in their foundation were still deep. Just when she needed her husband to be her rock, it seemed the ground beneath her was shifting sand. The combination was a perfect storm, the heartache of losing her fur baby, the trauma of the break-in, and the uncertainty of her marriage. Who wouldn't break down? And then, just as things looked their bleakest, a glimmer of hope appeared on our Instagram feeds. A picture of Julia and Brandon at the airport. Julia, dressed in comfy athleisure wear, is sitting in a terminal, a glass of orange juice in hand. It's a simple image, but the caption held a universe of meaning. "We've wanted to fly on this trip for a long time," she wrote, acknowledging that life, as it so often does, got in the way. They kept putting it off, falling into that familiar trap of tomorrow. Tomorrow will always be tomorrow, she reflected, asking her followers a question that resonates with us all, and when if not now? Read those words again. It's a powerful declaration. It's the sound of someone choosing to stop surviving and start living again. She confessed that with all the breakdowns and stress she'd endured, the decision to just get up and go became incredibly easy. It was no longer a luxury, it was a necessity. This wasn't just a vacation, it felt like a rescue mission for her soul. And who was right there beside her, making it happen? Brandon. This simple act of being there, of prioritizing his wife's healing, speaks volumes. After the public tension of the tell-all, seeing him support her in this tangible way feels like a significant shift. It suggests that despite their struggles, despite the therapy we're seeing them undergo on the new season of Happily Ever After, he understands what's truly important. He's showing up. He's making his wife, in her moment of desperate need, his priority. This impromptu journey is more than just a getaway. It's a defiant stand against the relentless tide of misfortune. It's Julia and Brandon choosing each other, choosing their marriage and choosing to heal together, away from the pressures of daily life. While Julia is still grappling with the immense grief for Simba and trying to rebuild her sense of stability, this trip is a powerful step forward. We don't yet know where they went or what this trip will ultimately mean for the future of their relationship. But what we do see is a couple fighting to stay afloat, and right now, they're holding on to each other. It's a raw, honest look at what it takes to make a marriage work when life does its worst. Julia and Brandon are proving that even when everything seems to be crumbling, there's still strength to be found in turning to each other and saying, "Okay, let's do this. Not tomorrow, now." And for them, and for anyone watching, that's a beautiful and inspiring thing to see.